It's been a rough month for those watching LeftTube. Many of us have been bewildered and left completely astonished. What is next, I hear many of you asking? Well, as the titans of LeftTube continue to release bangers in the form of video essays like Drop the Tea by Kaylin Conrad and A Man Plagiarized My Work by Abigail Thorne's PhilosophyTube, many of us small creators are left with the conundrum. What do we do now? The queer community has a history of key milestones that are far too numerous for us to squeeze into one essay. Equally, LeftTube has formed into its own beast. Many of you, like myself, will have joined the LeftTube bandwagon at some point along the way. Some of you will boast having been here since its very dawn, when Hbomberguy, both physically and metaphorically, broke down the walls of Ben Shapiro's hypocrisy. Now remember that, it'll come up later. Some of you, like myself, will have joined when Noah Samsen, quite succinctly, brought us a practical guide to leftist YouTube. Shortly followed the age of debate bro drama, which was a divide in the community that is arguably yet to be fully restored and healed. And some of you may have not even known you were watching leftist YouTube. Instead, you had been carried along unwillingly to your demise to find out that you had been in fact watching a fraudster. Lied to and cheated, many of you will be looking for someone else to be entertained by, to give your trust to. And yes, us small creators will be making our pledge for your attention. Leftist YouTube is made up by a large proportion of the queer and LGBTQIA+ community, and we are witnessing a new era unfold after Hbomberguy swooped in to remind us that he is always watching. Whether you're inspired to create your own small YouTube channel, or you are indeed a viewer and looking for new potential talent to enjoy, this is the video essay for you. It's been several days since the H-bomb dropped and destroyed several channels that were allegedly plagiarizing smaller creators. So what next? Many of us can't just carry on as we were. It would seem callous, if not disrespectful. The bar has been raised. And I have no doubt that several other channels that were doing the same thing as James Somerton and Illuminati will have also scattered from the platform like mice. And good riddance. In theory, that'll only leave the creative and honest types. And thanks to Hbomberguy, we also saw a selection of smaller creators that were left in the shadowy corners of LeftTube and have been brought out to the spotlight to actually get their time to shine. And another result I think we're going to see from this is a new wave of creative types, the imposter syndrome filled underdogs that didn't think they have enough creativity to join YouTube and are going to think to themselves, well, as long as I'm not stealing from other people and I actually write my own stuff, then maybe I am valid and worth joining the platform. At the end of the day, if you can make something yourself out of nothing, and you're lucky enough to have the tools and facilities to do so, then I think you have a place on YouTube. In fact, if you're thinking of doing just that and joining leftist YouTube, a great place to start is the reactionaries. Emotive, overbearing, powerful. The reactionaries keep your attention with their hot takes and explosive discord. This guy's insane. I love this guy. What? We've seen so many people lose their faith from their right-wing heroes. So why don't we not just start dunking on them all, right? It's wild, bro. And why not dunk on the odd right-wing grifter? I think it's harmless fun. Especially when it's so clear that what the right-wing grifters are doing is just making up complete bullshit. For example, have you heard of the latest from the Daily Liar? There's a film called Lady Ballers, apparently. And it's basically just an attempt at misogyny and transphobia. A bunch of men dress as women to try and be better at women's sports. Because, of course, all men are innately better at women at sport. That's not problematic at all, let alone the transphobia, which we'll get to. Ben Shapiro was talking about this, and he talked about how it was originally a documentary. But for some reason, he couldn't quite make it happen as a documentary.
I originally went to them and I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual men. And they weren't willing to go the full distance in terms of what it would require in order to, the actual hormone treatments and everything to play in some of the ladies' leagues. But
just one small thing, Ben. Doesn't that technically mean that trans women are women? But a word of warning to the up-and-coming reactionaries. Fly too close to the sun and you'll be burned. Reacting to the stupidity and hypocrisy of other creators can sometimes lead to infighting on the left. Oh, how the leftists love to infight. Perhaps in the small creator era that I've alluded to, we could take this as an opportunity to come together as a community instead and show the world what LeftTube can really achieve. There is systematic oppression that needs dismantling, and if actually making steps for that dismantling to happen is grounds to call me a tanky, then what does tanky even mean? So, reacting to someone's takes that you don't quite agree with does have a point, an effect, a benefit. Oh, and don't worry. Reacting to somebody's work is very different to just stealing it or plagiarizing it. Honestly, you're fine. Just make sure to talk about fair use and always cite your sources. Always cite your sources, lest you summon him. Jokes aside, it's clear that many viewers will have been disheartened by this and just lost faith in their creators. I don't think anyone likes to be taken for a ride. Many paid for James Somerton's Patreon and joined his Kickstarter, and that mistrust is completely understandable, and it will affect us all. Other creators will need to win that trust back. I don't think it hurts for creators to state in their video descriptions that I created this myself, I scripted this myself, I cited my sources correctly. And anyone that doesn't want to state that, I would say maybe they have something to hide, but I don't know. I don't want to start another witch trials, and I don't think there is an actual way we can get people to be honest. We just have to believe them. I'm hoping though that people will understand now that Hbomberguy is watching all of us. But more importantly than that, I think we should all take this chance to group together. As Abigail Thorne recently said,
YouTube, where creators are colleagues, but we're also kind of competitors.
But I think we should try and go against that as much as we can anyway. The more people that watch LeftTube, the bigger it grows. It doesn't have to be a finite resource. And I think that's a good thing for everyone. The left, more than any other group on YouTube, more than ever has a responsibility to show the world what it can achieve if we join forces. But that looks to the future. Before we do that, let's look at how we got here. If going live isn't for you, there's always another way you can react without risking hateful chat raids or going with the wrong hot take. You could become a commentary channel. Now, if you don't want to become a reaction channel, that's fine. Meet us in the middle and become a commentary channel. All you need is bisexual lighting, a microphone, and ideally a mullet. I was first initiated into LeftTube by none other than top leftist commentary, Noah Samsen, and his practical guide to LeftTube. Sure, I'd seen the odd Philosophy Tube episode and watched ContraPoints religiously whenever she released anything, but I cannot claim to have been one of the OG LeftTube lovers on the platform. It was Mr. Samsen that opened my eyes to what I was actually consuming. His commentary style and edits were encapsulating, all-consuming. Plus, he just seemed like a really nice guy, and honestly, it's a breath of fresh air in this day and age. Some even believe that Noah Samsen invented LeftTube, and any earlier evidence of its existence was actually put there by the great creator to make it appear as if it had been there several years before. And we saw Noah Samsen climb to fame in the very circles that he was commenting on. It's almost like doing a retrospective of LeftTube can be really good for your channel. It's interesting looking at this again now, and knowing nearly everyone mentioned. But don't worry if you don't, that comes with time and being terminally online. As Noah has also shown, commentary is also a fantastic and valid form of content on the left. As YUGOPNIK puts it,
the reply guys. Media analysis.
See something wild on TikTok? Well, get commenting, my guy. Misogyny is a great place to start. There is no end to cis white men that have a podcast that for some reason have to tell the world how much they've never made a woman come. This kind of content just writes itself, honestly. No, not like that. I wrote this bit too, I promise. But shortly after this would follow an age, or well, a few months, of leftist internet infighting. Debate bros against video essayists. FD Signifier released Break Bread on the 7th of December 2021, and it put everything into focus. Whether you were a creator or just a viewer, you were a part of what was happening.
And here's where we finally get to the origins of BreadTube/LeftTube. driven by the benefit of their content being more factually based, as well as an audience thirsty for alternative views and less outrage and nonsense, along with a sense of urgency in these communities to speak up for marginalized people and reduce the pull of radicalization on their nieces and nephews, combined with, to be honest, more talent, expertise, better production values, etc. The algorithm boosted these channels.
Yeah, I just didn't see Black creators doing the type of stuff that I wanted to do. So I didn't put my face in the thumbnail of my essays.
As time goes on, there's like several different problems. Like there's like the gatekeeping in the audience. Like, who's the real LeftTube? Who really belongs in this group? It became clear that LeftTube, like quote unquote LeftTube, was like this. It was like for white people.
This has been the cause for some pushback.
All the drama that I'm speaking of, for a moment, maybe this is me projecting, I feel like I saw it on his face when he talked to Noah Samsen on stream.
Harass me because it makes me out to be the instigator, the eternal arbiter of harassment, who can never ever have too much done against them. I do think a lot of it is a narrative-based thing. The issue is that a lot of people do view me as some kind of big bad, scary antagonist, a person who's representative of the rot in the online left, and also because people constantly talk about this alleged harassment from my community, a person who mobilizes this massive wave of hate that people will get after.
Several months later.
All right, thank you guys. Keep it up though. Don't get complacent. The more of you are in the replies being like, that's not what's happening right here. Like, this is necessary, okay? Publicly shame her into changing her mind on this. Move you off this site and into... I don't want to bring up the substance abuse.
But I'll sum that up in a single statement. If you truly are on the side of liberation, for dismantling systematic oppression, and really truly for equality, then you should have absolutely no problem with sharing this platform with other minorities. If this was the recent history of LeftTube, then YUGOPNIK releasing his video essay on the current state of it marked modern history. Or like a few weeks ago, I guess. The undertone of this video was also that it was making another comment on the tumors of LeftTube.
Originally, I was going to actually show you the creators I would consider the tumor category, but I decided against it out of naivety or hope that they might eventually step out of this role. They might not even be realizing they're playing. We're still on the same side, I think. Anyways.
And I think that kind of linked to the whole tanky situation, which we talked about earlier, and how there are people on the left that seem to actually stand for leftist theories, and there are kind of people on the left that apparently don't. Or they do to an extent that suits them, but when it's talking about someone else's cries and forms of oppression, then they kind of don't really care.
The current lack of organization and structure among these free-floating radicals simply leads all of them to naturally kind of fall into different parts of the funnel. Some contribute to people going down the pipeline, while others, well, not so much.
Oh, what it must have been like to be included in one of these, or at least maybe having hosted one of the news sections in the particular month that this video was created, which meant that you was the person in the screenshot for the main video, so you're technically a part of the video. Yes. And that brings us to the H-bomber effect, the current day, when everything changed. Last, but of course not least, there's always the video essay. High production, scripted gold, and quality performance. Art in its purest form. That was upside down. You should be spending as much time on your set design as you do your lexicon. Make sure to quote at least 3 Greek philosophers and show a little flesh. It helps if you can hire a studio or happen to live in a castle, but until then, a wide camera angle and moody lighting will have to do. I think it was Plato that once said, small YouTube creators are the essence of everything that is pure on LeftTube. There is power in numbers. If you're a small creator, then I would love to work with you. Carpe into my DMs and we can organize some form of a collaboration. If you're watching this from my recent video, The H-Bomber Effect, then there's a high chance that you're trying to find someone else to watch instead of James Somerton. So I took the liberty of going through a selection of small creators on the Hbomberguy Reddit page that were just mentioned through the posts from other people. I want to look at the creators on this itself, and we are looking live on YouTube, so apologies if there's any ads or anything funny comes up. But at the time of recording this, we've got 170,000 views of this playlist in itself, made up of 35 views, which is amazing. Now, I can't obviously watch them all, but I am going to first of all go through and talk about who I already know, because I do know some of them already, and I think that's important to say. So Alexandra Avila, I've been watching since this video, so I won't quite include that on who I already know because it's a bit cheeky. But Khadija Mbao is a person I love very much, and if you watch my streams in any form or in my videos, you'll know that I'm a huge fan. Maggie Mayfish I've heard of, haven't watched too much stuff. Cat Black I've watched a lot of. Cat Black's one of the OG members on YouTube. She's also a trans woman as well, and gives fantastic insight about that. Lily Alexandra, I've seen a lot of her video essays, a couple of clips and stuff I've used as reference. She's really cool. She's got a really nice kind of Gen Z vibe, I would say. Definitely heard of Professor? That's Professor Flowers I was thinking of. Princess Weeks as well. Not watched too much of their content, but love. CJ the X has an amazing energy, great video essays, really recommend. Yeah, CJ the X is amazing. Their videos are just an experience. Don't put them on in the background. Don't assume to be doing anything else. Just play it and just be taken away. Like, it's just amazing. You're just 100%. So anyone I'm not mentioning are people I've not heard of, so I probably will look into now. So recommendations, please let me know. And you recommend Mia, okay? Definitely. I will maybe try some Mia now. I wanted to look at the smaller channels as well, if that makes sense. People that have fewer views and try and give them some more coverage. So let's look at a couple of these, and then we'll see. I want to go through the Reddit itself and see other people that aren't on the list. So by all means, while we're doing that, have a little look at like who you want me to like jump and talk about. But let's give. I mean, this is only 20 minutes long. Let's give it a little thing, and then we'll look at the actual channel themselves.
About the 1979 movie Alien. In Joan Lambert's profile, she is described as being a Despin convert at birth, male to female. It was framed as part of this sort of revelation that Lambert is a trans woman, and I thought that was really interesting given some of the themes of the movie Alien. I wanted to give my own take on this new information and how it sort of fits in with some of the themes of the movie, and also talk about how it helps us engage with that age-old question, is Alien a queer text?
Loving it so far. An amazing effects there. I don't think I've actually seen Alien as well. I've only understood it through actual depictions of the text, and I hear this a lot. I hear it's innately a feminist theme because it's basically all about how everyone should have listened to the woman character, the female. So this is Max Teeth, they're called. 10,000 subscribers, so like doing all right, but still a small creator all the same. They've got videos. What else have they got? I'm obsessed with the evangelical review of Hereditary, I bet. The man-car binary in John Carpenter's Christine. So it looks like media analysis, I would say, which makes sense why James Somerton might plagiarize them, allegedly, because obviously it's a lot of media analysis. Oh gosh, Class and Generational Wealth and Legally Blonde. Love. Gonna fully bookmark that for later. That had a lot of views as well. Gonna fully bookmark that. Wonderful. Okay, so that's Max Teeth. Subscribe, love, bit of media analysis. So another channel that we just bookmarked was Kameno O, I believe it would be pronounced. Loads of stuff. This looks like an anime analysis. We check it out.
So there I was in my new college, and due to scheduling being a bitch, I had to quickly add another class, and I chose a class all about East Asian pop culture. The class was fun and really interesting, especially with my final for the class, which was to pick a piece of media from East Asia, Japan, South Korea, or China, and write about it and what it means in the concept of the world of modern media, its effects, and its impact in East Asia itself. So, as you would expect, almost everyone chose Japan or something animated related, being Dragon Ball, Death Note, and surprisingly, Metal Gear Solid 5. Did I get spoiled for it? Yeah, I did get spoiled, but whatever. And then there were some that chose South Korea and K-pop. However, I noticed something. Wait, no one's choosing China. No one chose any Mandarin or Chinese-speaking territories. Heck, I'm even surprised that no one chose Genshin, considering the impact it had on China. As for me, well, while I was contemplating my final, I thought the usual of Pokemon or Sonic, since they were Japan and they're some of my favorite franchises, when all of a sudden, just like a baseball out of left field, I go on YouTube and see a video with some Asian characters, and my immediate reaction while watching it is, what the f*** is a Danmei? Oh.
Wait, what is a Danmei? What is a Danmei? Did we miss it? What is a Danmei? I'm scared to find out. Danmei is a Chinese genre of literature and other fictional media that features romantic relationships between male characters. So isn't that the same as yaoi in Japanese? I mean, I don't know from personal experience. No, I don't generally. Not an anime fan myself, but so that's what Danmei is in the Chinese equivalent. I generally did not know that. That's very informative.
I went to my local bookstore, bought the books, watched the donghua, which is the Chinese anime, listened to the audio dramas to the best I can, also watched the live action series, and dived into it. It can't be that good, yeah?
I love this. Like, I love this. Okay, I love this. And you can, again, it's really sad that you can see the connections of how James Somerton could plagiarize this. Do you know what I mean? But amazing. The edit style is completely different to what we were just watching. We had the video essay style before, and this is now the very highly edited voiceover only commentary style. Love. And which, connecting it back to my content, the video essay I'm working on now that's coming out soon is about these different styles and genres of LeftTube and of YouTube in general. But like the juxtaposition of the two different styles is actually quite ironically exactly what I talk about. Okay, I'm not gonna just like crush on small creators, but like 9.44 subs. I 9.44 thousand subs. Already, I'm more enthralled than any James Somerton video. No offense, James. Sorry if you're for some reason watching this. And I might just, there's loads, so I'm just probably gonna like randomly just stop somewhere. I'd love if I stopped on my own comment, that would destroy me. Rowan Ellis. Now, I have seen Rowan before, and that was actually a little clip I used in my previous episode. So we'll keep going until someone new. Verily bitchy. Very, very good. Well-considered media criticism and think pieces for focus on bisexuality. Love. Let's do some bisexual representation. Content warning in general. I don't know what we're about to find. Let's do some more. Maybe one more. Lee Speaks. We've got Lily Simpson. Love. I interviewed Lily, if you want to check that out. Teen Noir, I've heard great things about. I think Khadija and Bao recommended Teen Noir, and so did Soul Bunny. I don't know, Vandal. Some Rome. There's just so many. There's just so many. Like, super funny. I love super funny. Let's do Rome Ramden. Verily Bishy. I love it. 278,000 subscribers. They're not really a small creator by my standard, but we can dream. Let's watch all the same. Love it. Let's go.
Bisexual TV shows. In October 2018, we got the Bisexual and the Bi Life, followed shortly by the bisexual season of Are You the One and the bi sitcom Abby's. And nobody watched them. But like, why not? In the 2000s, Tila Tequila's bisexual reality TV show was enormously successful. Everyone wanted to see that tiny little bi lady bounce off of straight guys and lesbians. You would have thought that by now the world would be much better prepared for bi representation. A 2015 report suggested that half of youth identify as something other than straight. And maybe that's why producers were eager to try and make bi TV happen. The problem is you just can't make enough money from television by exclusively targeting bi people or even the LGBT community as a whole. We're just not that big of a demographic. That's why commercial producers resort to something called gay streaming, as in mainstreaming. Gay streaming is making content that is technically gay, but makes a point of targeting straight audiences. It is gay, but it is not necessarily for gay. people. Gay streaming content is very gendered, with gay male content made for gay men and straight women, and lesbian content made for lesbians and straight men. Producers noticed that straight women were watching shows made for gay men and decided to leverage that and lean into gay men and straight women as similar demographics who can be shown the same high-value ads. Where we pay for a subscription for Netflix, traditional TV is supported by ads. The whole point is to produce a show that will appeal to a big enough audience that ad space can be sold during the breaks. If you can have not just...
You know you're old when the TV that you were brought up on is now traditional TV. And you have to explain to a modern audience how ads worked. That breaks my heart. Not only that, but there is also F the Algorithm, run by Kaylin Conrad and the Leftist Cooks. It is a platform in which various well-known artists on LeftTube kind of select a few smaller creators' videos to watch and give them, again, some chunk of spotlight on the platform. You can see the list of people that have already applied, myself included, so I took the liberty to include a selection of those small creators as well, just to give some highlight to who they are. Every month, they haven't done it in a while, but they have like a live stream where everyone kind of compiles together and they pick a different video from the list. So another thing I wanted to do, I mean, obviously there are some people that we now know of that have made it bigger because of this. Dead Domain is an amazing example. You can't quite see on the stream, but Dead Domain's video, like Trans Person Infiltrates a Hate Church, has put them on the map. Amazing video. Soul Bunny is on here as well from before, on her video on transphobia and transmisogynoir. I have applied, to be honest, but I've not been picked yet. Swolsome is also on here as well, who I know. So it does show that like a few, Babila as well, I've seen a lot of. But this is an amazing, amazing channel, and I love the ethos behind it. There was one creator I watched, this person, Theo E. Evans, right? Amazing video, amazing video. I think I've been not subscribed, and I'm like, amazing creator. Yeah, look, so 5,000 subs. I watched, is it this person? I watched this video they did about a particular simulation theory video. It was amazing. I won't click on it again, it's quite long, but I really recommend it. This was incredible. Transphobia is transvisibility. Gosh, I'm getting tired, folks. Is transvisibility to blame? Artemis Munoz.
If I'm not kidnapped by my demons and thus prevented from editing this in a timely manner, this video will come out on Trans Day Visibility, which just so happens to be my favourite of all the insert marginalised identity here days. And I want to share the story behind that favouritism with you all at the end of the video, because it's a pretty cute story, and heck, we're going to need a bit of a palate cleanser after some of the spicy content I want to talk to you about today.
Again, 1,780 subscribers. Like I basically, I'm much closer to this channel than any of the bigger ones I've seen, and I can relate on an emotional feeling of like that you're at the point where your channel is big enough that you're like, okay, it's something, there's something here, I can do this, but you're still miles away from this like 100,000 sub mark. 1,000 subscribers instantly puts you in the upper quarter of all creators straight away at 1,000 subs. You're at the like above most like 75% of all creators. Like, so basically 3/4 don't even get to monetization. That's how competitive it is. And then this is rough because they don't really release the real numbers, but like, and then like by the point of like 100,000 subscribers, you're in like the top 8% of all channels. They've got some amazing looking thumbnails, other videos. I will watch the rest of all of these. I'm working on this really big video, and as soon as I finished, I wanted to like finish all these videos and binge over Christmas and just have a bit of me time. Kaylin and Sarah from the Leftist Cooks recently also dropped an amazing video essay called Dropped. Kaylin and Sarah from the Leftist Cooks also recently released. Kaylin and Sarah from the Leftist Cooks also released a new video called Drop the Tea, in which they go through the historical liberation of the LGBT community, as well as depicting the flaws of the Drop the Tea movement. I highly recommend it. It's an amazing video essay, and honestly, it sets the bar for the standard that we should be aiming for. Not only that, the voiceover cast in that video essay literally had me gasping as soon as I saw it. If you need a good selection of where to start for Leftist Tube, honestly, I would check out that entire voiceover selection. And I meant what I said earlier. I am generally hoping to work with some other smaller creators. I myself am a small creator, and I think that there is a power in us joining forces and creating some form of art together. We can learn from each other, we can share the platform, and hopefully LeftTube as a whole can grow. Getting serious for a moment, at a time when the UK government is more transphobic and xenophobic than ever, in the US, with the lacking in backing for Biden, there is a chance that Trump might get back into power. A horrendous kickstart for Plan 2025. That goes aside to all of the other atrocities that are being carried out still across the world, especially in Gaza. Free Palestine. Now more than ever, we need to stop the infighting on the left, I personally think, and work together to seriously form some kind of change. This is me going off script for a second, but at the time of recording, I saw through my Instagram posts of who I follow, there was like a global boycott of everything. Banks, school, work, everything. Shut it down to get their attention. So if you want to be a small creator in what I think is the era for small creators on LeftTube, now's the time. Don't be scared, don't be worried. If I can do it, you can. Just follow your heart and get creating. There isn't a finite amount of space on this platform for LeftTube. It can grow to any size, and you could help it do that. Let's look to the real enemy, the white supremacist, hegemonic, late-stage capitalist patriarchy. Oh, and on that note, if you don't use all of those 7 words, not necessarily though in that order, then it doesn't actually count as a leftist video as well. I do live streams every week, so please do feel free to join them. We have an amazing community of people. I look at the latest LGBTQIA+ news, as well as comment on some kind of political stuff, usually the Majority Report. And then I also talk about the internet's latest drama. One example being the Hbomber situation that happened last week. I look forward to seeing you there. I also have a gaming stream, which is the next day. For many people, that's the Saturday. For me, it's Sunday morning here in Japan. I'm playing a casual playthrough of Final Fantasy X. Come and join if you're interested in that. I will do other games eventually. And to just explain what matriarchetype actually means, it's the different playlists are archetypes that are a form of my own femininity, hence the matri bit. The rebel playlists are my leftist essays, which you're watching right now. The wife playlist are kind of similar commentary video essay-esque things, but they're more like loose opinion pieces talking about my life as a trans woman, living in Japan with my husband. The goddess section is where I talk about the internet's latest drama. And the scholar section is where I kind of make more political commentary. They're more of my reaction stuff. Matriarchetype is a really ambitious project, and I'm doing something that's never been done before on YouTube. Instead of choosing a niche, I'm doing various things. And as many of you will probably know, that's kind of a no-go on YouTube. People tell you to pick a niche, stick to it, and don't ever veer from that. But I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do something that made sense to me. So if there are any elements of that channel that you enjoy, any kinds of those content you enjoy, please just feel free to just watch that and ignore the rest. Members get access to even more bonus content and early access to all of my videos. So if you are a fan of the show, please do consider becoming a member. It really helps me out. Other than that, I'm going to kind of just go off script and talk candidly for a second, but I do generally see this as a different chapter for LeftTube. And as a small creator myself, I hope this is a time that people give small creators more of a chance. I have a whole interview section where I talk with different creators, and so far I've had some amazing conversations with Lily Simpson, the Cavernacle, Squid Tips, Soul Bunny, John the Junkin, like people I've admired from the get-go. I hope to work with more, but if you are a small creator and you want to get in touch and just have a conversation, then please do feel free to reach out. Other than that, I guess thank you for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this kind of parody LeftTube retrospective joke thing. I hope it made sense. I hope I made you laugh at least once. I guess that's all. I guess that's all I can do. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. I love you all very much, and I will speak to you soon. Bye. Test. 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 What have I done here?